Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to this new episode of Swift Quiz. This time I have a weird piece of code for you. Let's have a look at it. What's interesting here is that this line of code has a similar structure to regular Swift code, except that some information has been replaced by underscores. And so I want to ask you, do you think that this is valid Swift code? By valid, I mean, does it build and does it run without crashing? Don't hesitate to pause the video for a few seconds while you try to come up with your own answer. So the answer is that this is perfectly valid Swift code. It will build and run just fine. Now let's take the time to understand why. To start, we can focus on the first underscore. If you have some experience with Swift, there's a good chance you're familiar with this syntax, because it's been part of the language since its beginning. This underscore means that we are discarding the result of the expression on the right hand side of the assignment. While it's not necessarily a syntax that we use every day, it can be useful when we want to explicitly ignore the result of a function call. The next two underscores, however, play a different role. They are part of a feature introduced last year with Swift 5.6 called type placeholders. And these underscores allow us not to repeat a type in situations where the compiler is already able to infer that type. Here it is indeed the case, because the compiler is able to infer both the type for the key and the value of the dictionary. Of course, in this example, the type placeholders are not super useful, because we could have omitted the type altogether and the compiler would have still been able to infer it. However, consider this different piece of code. Here the compiler can only infer the type of the success generic argument, but it has no way to infer the type of the error argument. In such a situation, we can use a type placeholder, which allows us not to repeat the information that's already available to the compiler. As you can imagine, this feature becomes even more useful as the types involved get more and more complex. That's all for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it and that you've learned something new. Remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. Thank you for watching and see you next time.